13. The months I need to finish my speeches will be spent quaking in fear for 8 billion. My American Congress may soon vote for huge military resupply of Ukrainian forces nearly out of ammunition. You're clear what Putin plans when new Western tank artillery and F-16 offense blasts through Russian lines towards Crimea and Russia. Be thrilled to even hear me speak. You're still alive. Why? Because nuclear winter, for no apparent reason, held off for another month. Nice guy Biden remains a billion times more dangerous than vicious Trump. Forget all my speeches except for one word: ceasefires, Ukraine and Gaza. Tough to arrange. Putin won't agree when he can soon roll over Zelensky's forces out of artillery shells. Get him plenty and aerial attack defenses too, just not the tanks, F-16s, and deep artillery to punch the offensive that will end the world. Go public today to stop nuclear war tomorrow. In Gaza are pending merely hundreds of thousands of bombing, disease, hunger, and thirst deaths. I've already detailed your campaign to get behind the 99% of humanity already in full support of simple human mercy. No longer 2,000-pound bomb Palestinian genocide. 2 all-powerful men deny it: Netanyahu and Biden. Biden has spent this 4-month bombing campaign as of my writing telling the world that Israel must stop slaughtering tens of thousands of civilians. But he keeps sending messages to the 14 Security Council members and 190 General Assembly nations who all demand that a ceasefire must stop the massive, relentless, deliberate civilian slaughter. I interpret or paraphrase his complete communication thus: my vetoes force Bibi Netanyahu's next year of American blockbuster battering of 2.3 million dying Palestinians because I accept his story as he accepts my bombs. He can only get to 10,000 Hamas fighters hiding in tunnels by mostly staying out to pound the entire nation above to death. Joe and Bibi both leave their offices each evening, go home, and love their families until returning the next morning to hammer, until you end it, the public weapons and war business corruption that every mass murder prophet day again grows their horns and spiky tails and hands them bloody pitchforks. The American president will only end his savage blocking of mercy when 50 million American blacks and whites, not just 1 million Arabs, withdraw their November of 2024 presidential support. And not a single informed human wants the other monster. Today, 1.5 million Palestinians cower under tents in South Gaza while Israel's carpet bombing begins on them to pound Hamas tunnels underneath. I've already explained that hate of all Palestinians and love of bomb sellers, profits, and power drives superpower corruption and every civilian slaughter new low. This year, you campaign to force American restraint to prevent world nuclear war out of Ukraine and get Biden to stop the sick bombing. Once you get that done, jump on all our laws to save 8 billion to save your family. Make my facts yours. I couldn't make this stuff up. explode our rescue times 1 billion yesterday to cancel imminent doomsday. Leave not one stone unturned, you dig? Are communist dictators and generalissimos and epaulettes your idea of tyrants? Then you're forgetting a proud, only 100% false claim of premier world democracy by the corporation crown giant that has, at last count, fueled 240 wars, killing 14 million with their weapons, and led world fossil fuel and hydrogen bomb addiction for 3/4 of a century. None requested by 1% of its American voters, only by those private death business, public tax, and election thieves and bribers calling themselves big campaign donors. 4 months into the siege, bombing, and invasion of Gaza, killing 29,000, mostly civilians, never mind many thousands more forever gone under billions of tons of concrete, 1.5 million cower in leaky tents stuffed between mountains of rubble in wet, freezing winter. All were ordered to crowd into Rafah for safety, while all Gaza to the north exploded. Now Rafah is also battered without evacuation. What is your day like? A resident was asked. We're up at 5 a.m. We make today's list. Find water, food, and power for the cell phone. Now spend 10 to 12 hours in miles-long lines, likely to finally go back to the tent after dark with zero food, water, or electricity for the dead phone. All day, everyone tries in vain to comfort staring, emaciated children, constantly waving cups just in case from nowhere someone might put something to eat or drink in them. Every day of the last 120, the bombers and their foreign suppliers loudly pledge to each other and the world their plan and duty of protecting and aiding civilians, silently, fully aware that their intention, reality, and result is 1,000% opposite genocide. For many weeks now, all major nation funding to the single UN aid agency providing, in lieu of the lawful refused duty of the invaders instead providing only siege and explosives, has been 100% cut off to punish 2.3 million Gazans for the crimes of 12 aid employees suspected of participating in the October 7th raid into Israel. In days, all food and water runs out. World News covers this crisis in 30-second spots, with no time to explore the real questions. Is world humanity dead? Who killed it? How? When? Is no one fighting back? The UN Courts of Justice and the American sabotaged Security Council refuse to legally and physically achieve ceasefire and aid life support. Ongoing genocide, exactly like 10,000-year patriarch's primacy, is the 1% weapons makers and sellers overriding of the world's 99% begging for Gaza peace and aid. Their bribes buy PR propaganda to shut down 8 billion minds with reassurance. We have no plans to deprive your family of water and food, nor are we about to blow you up. So relax and let us keep calling the shots. And my entire speech's theme? Murder Incorporated, filthy corruption is an eye blink from your no water, no food, blow you to bits Holocaust. Today's 49 wars, unaddressed terminal drought, and skyrocketing approach of nuclear doomsday direct our only survival agenda. All my big mouth does is report the news that big shots hide for temporary profit before their ignored self-destruction too. Every day that you wait to act deepens doomsday certainty and weakens our best case maximal rescue. We are in the last few unchallenged power leaders' automatic extinction machine, fully 10,000 years in the unbroken making. So why, then, are you on the verge of exploding with hope and action to save most of us? Well, can I take a bit of credit for shocking you? If any old rank amateur can easily stumble on the ridiculously simple, logical rescue laws and projects, all based on your fabulous character, talent, brain, and world panoply expertise, then all you gotta do is go grab 1 billion times Turkey Steve's gifts and powers and resources to drive us all a mere decade or two to the promised land, right? Organize to cut off destruction buyers of government, leaving even present leaders scrambling to obey your legions of rescue voters, requiring all candidates and incumbents to court the humanity vote exploded by public campaign finance, lawsuits, and booming world treaty work. I quoted Churchill's "never quit" exhortation yesterday, before today's tragic news. Last fall, Vladimir Putin got nervous about re-election challenges during his savage war, so he sent his world-famous nemesis Alexei Navalny to a Siberian prison camp. Today he had him killed. A few suffering years ago, as Alexei returned to Russia to take on Vlad, David against Goliath, he was asked what he wanted the world to know after he was killed. The logical outcome of walking back into killer lion Putin's open Moscow mouth. I would only be murdered in fear that our movement had become incredibly powerful. Don't ever quit. Never give up. Indeed, during the winter of 23 and 24, as Navalny's health foundered in thousands of hours of solitary confinement and starvation rations, he kept getting his anti-war, corruption, and evil Putin message to the world. The utterly clashing taint to the emperor's upcoming election coronation. Interviewed on film in good spirits one day, Navalny fell dead during a walk in the yard that should have been filmed 24 hours later. Most analysts think that, like other of Putin's most embarrassing enemies, he was poisoned. In his case, again. He was just 47. I'll be nearing 80 before you and I truly strike fear in the heart of $50 trillion World Murder Incorporated. My sudden death will be our good, not sad mourning, because your final mighty blows will be close to bringing down the weaponeer's teetering tower of war and human doom. My program is worse than just a hell of a tough challenge if every potential leader and helper, who can only be you, and you, remains fatally absent. For 10,000 years, every religion, every god, and every other good karma benevolence booster has preached eternal love and peace. Especially successful for dead folks vacationing in clouds. But here, alive, No, we all just leave the bribery for weapons and war exploding, destroying fully 100% of any love and care survival imperative. Spiritual leaders remain helpless against all-powerful and consuming human evil because no one ever demanded your active, public, lawful love to convert government from private war business to public peace law. Thus we, from impotent God down to every little bio family, never big human family caretaker, leave every one of us 8 billion staring, catatonic, at crackling, spitting, 2-inch terminal environmental and nuclear fuses. So I speak up because I've met 1,000 family lovers and protectors just like you. I don't believe, I know that not one of you truly cares to just sit down, shut up, and give up on the fight before you even start it because you think it's time to stick a fork in our families and fellow world citizens. We're done. No! Like John Lennon, you imagine. Join us, and the world will not be lost but one. No longer fouling, thieving, warring contenders, but one. Loving, caring, helping, saving, surviving, thriving human family. Beginning and ending with yours. For what? To stop making your little girl's bedtime story a damn lie. And they lived happily ever after.